Hey everybody, it's Darrell with the weekly Back 40 broadcast. Always here at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time every Wednesday to bring you a nugget or a nudge to support you in creating your second half as your best half. Because as we believe, you have yet to do what you came here to do. So today I want to talk about compare and solitaire. What do they have in common? Well, first off, here's the thing. If we're playing big games, and one of the things we believe here in the Back 40 is that you have yet to do what you came here to do. And so if you're playing a big game and you're really out to fulfill on that really purposeful second half that you came for, no matter what you've done before, then guess what? You're going to be pressing the envelope. You're going to kind of be at the edge at all times of who you know yourself to be, what you've done in the past, what you've accomplished, what you know how to do. And so there's a natural tendency, and a lot of people talk like, oh, don't do it, don't compare. And yet there is this natural tendency to compare, right? To look to see how you're playing your game compared to how others who may be playing that game or a similar game. You don't compare your tennis game to someone's baseball game, right? But if someone's playing in the same realm or up to the same kind of things you are, you kind of look to see how they're doing it, right? And you often compare to yourself, am I doing this the best I can? I mean, so many people, I see so many of us, beat ourselves up. Oh, that was stupid, or gosh, I could have done that better. Mea culpa. That's, Italian for me too, right? But the point being is that if we're going to take on playing big, then we want to have a new relationship with compare, with that idea, because, the tendency is going to be there to do it anyhow. And so, we've heard the idea of compare and despair, right? Because that's what most people do with the whole comparison thing, is we beat ourselves up or think, oh, wow, they're so much further ahead than we are. And, we'll never get there. And gosh, I should have started a long time ago. Yeah, blah, 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 monkey, right? And I want to offer another possible way of utilizing the natural tendency to compare. One is we could look at, and I have 3 tips, by the way, 3 tips to support you in that. One is we could look at, see what people are doing who are up to the same game that we are, and actually see that, wow, there's a lot to learn. We have a lot more to grow in, and we can learn from them and be, feel blessed that there's someone who's out there leading this charge. And by the way, folks, there's always going to be people who are beyond your level of playing a game. And there's always going to be people who are not up to your level of playing a game, right? It's not about who's better than others. We're all moving a particular direction. Just know there's always going to be those there, and there's going to be those there. And ideally, as you play your game, you're able to be a support for those who are coming behind you, just as those who are ahead of you are being a support for you, because you can learn from them. Another way we could treat compare is, especially when we use it to beat ourselves up or judge where we're at right now compared to where our ideals and standards would have us be, is to think, wow, look at all of this. If I'm not playing at my perceived ability, if I even have the concept that I could play beyond where I'm playing, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. I can feel blessed that there's so much more for me to tap into. So when I bring up this idea of compare and solitaire, let's look to see what they have in common. First off, your game is your game, okay? You can only play your game. This idea that we're competing with others. I read a quote the other day that said, a flower doesn't compare or compete itself with the one beside it. It just blooms. So realize that just like solitaire, this is your game, and it's always going to be an inside job. It's never to do with what's going on out there. You're only playing the game with yourself. And it's how you're going to treat yourself as you're playing that game to be the best you can be that makes all the difference. The other idea is it's your deck. You were given your deck. You don't have somebody else's deck. You've got yours. And all you can play with is your deck. And if you compare your way of playing with other ways of playing, and they have their deck, and which means their experiences, their life experiences, their insights, their growth, their challenges, all of that stuff. You know, you can only play the deck you've been given, and you've been given it for a particular reason. That's what we believe in the Back 40, is that everything in your first half has just been R&D, research and development for fulfilling on what you came here to do. So realize and appreciate you have your deck. And how about this? This is very cool. I researched and found out that another name for the game Solitaire is patience. Isn't that perfect? Because if you are going to be treating every comparison that you entertain between you and where someone else is, or between you and where you think you could be, if you're going to be treating all of those comparisons in an empowering way versus the despair way, then guess what? It just calls for patience. Patience with yourself. And the more patience you can have with yourself as you move along your path, the faster you're going to get there and the more joy you're going to have in it. Because at some point, when you're beating yourself up and judging yourself and comparing and despairing, you get resigned and you just, lose the momentum. You lose any interest in moving forward. So Solitaire and patience, it's the same thing. So remember, it is your game and you only have your deck to play with, and treat it with patience. So hopefully that'll support you as you continue to play your big game that you're designing for your best half, second half. Be sure to always come back every week. We're here to offer you a nugget or a nudge. Be sure you go to theback40.com, grab your top 10 tips for a radical second half. Check out our blog, see the things we're doing. We'd love to have you play with us, and we look forward to seeing you again. Have a great radical week.